Good morning, teachers, students, and guests. I'm Jen.
And I'm Natasha, and we'll be your MCs for today.
Today, we're remembering the soldiers who fought for peace. We celebrate Remembrance Day on November 11th because on November 11th, 1918, at 11 a.m., World War I ended.
This war was the first war that included many nations. Today, we are not only remembering the First World War, but also the many that have followed and the ones that are happening today.
We want to remember the peacekeepers of the world. They're not only fighting for their families, but for all of us. We want to pay tribute to the soldiers fighting today and the veterans that have fought for us in the past.
Those that are with us still and those that have lost their lives for a great cause, we remember you. Today, as we not only honor those who have guarded our great nation with their brothers and sisters of the world, but we thank them for peace, freedom, and justice.
Today, there will be no clapping allowed in our assembly. This is a service of remembrance.
Only soldiers, they are thanked for their service by those who never served, commended for their bravery by those who never dove. The colors of the country, the red and the white, in silent nod and gesture, they salute in passing pain, bathed in thanks for serving, awash and tearless rain, not soldiers, only heroes, and silent without a name.
First performance will be by Brynn from Miss Ovenel's class, reading Peace is Not.
Peace is not a big long word that I can learn to spell. It got 5 letters, only 5, and I can spell quite well. Peace is not a big long word, too hard to understand. My teacher said I can't hold peace here inside my hand. She told me peace is not a thing you hold and touch and feel. I asked my teacher, how can peace be something that is real? She told me words quite simple that I will not forget. She said even though we've tried, our world's not peaceful yet. So now I know what peace is. It's not just a little word. I've learned to spell it, and my voice will soon be heard. I may be just a child with lots of things to learn and see, but I know peace begins with love, and love's inside of me.
Reminding you guys that today, clapping is not allowed.
What a wonderful performance by Brynn. As we know, poppies are red flowers, which we wear to show others that we remember those who fought for our freedom.
The reasons we use poppies is because they were the flowers that grew on the battlefield after World War I, and they were a sign of remembrance. Now, a pleasant poem named Poppy Poppy will be shared by Maddie Brick and Leah Wald from Miss Davison's class.
Poppy, Poppy, what do you say? Wear me on Remembrance Day. Poppy, Poppy, what do you tell? Many soldiers in battle fell. Poppy, what should we know that peace on earth should grow, grow, grow?
Wasn't that beautiful? We are lucky to live in such a diverse country where there is peace. We have had many soldiers that have fought to keep us safe. And now, Ms. George's grade 7 class will be sharing a slideshow on why they remember.
Thank you, Ms. George's class, for putting that together.
Now the choir will perform 2 splendid songs for and about the soldiers of yesterday and today.
Would like to share 2 song selections with you this morning. The first song is titled Peaceful. The text says, "If I could do anything, I would make the world all peaceful and everything would be all right. Everyone would be so peaceful." The second song is Moonlight View. In this chaotic and confusing world, we hold on to hope and humanity in the future that all of us love to have. Please join us in listening with our hearts as we sing.
If I
Thank you, choir, for the heartfelt songs. Now, Georgia and Rose will be sharing artwork representing our Canadian soldiers at war. During World War I, a Toronto magazine called Canada in Khaki was published to help raise money for Canadian War Records Memorial Fund. A section in the magazine was cartoons and art showing officers and men serving in the overseas forces of Canada. Here are a couple of examples by contemporary artists. Harold H. Piffard, The Thin Red Line, and Joseph Simpson, Your Motherland Will Never Forget. Magazines like Canada in Khaki were one of the few ways people could learn and express their feelings about the war.
Thank you, Georgia and Rose. Now, Ilya, Kat, Hannah, Logan, and Randeep will be sharing something they made for Remembrance Day.
So we remember we wear the poppy as today's symbol to, I forgot. So we remember we wear the poppy as today's symbol for the brave souls who died in trenches and cradles, and because they did, you and I are free. Is it by those who gave their very all when asked to answer their country's call that we at home in peace may live and these soldiers still live in our hearts and dreams?
Thank you, Hannah, Kat, Ilya, Logan, and Randy. And special thanks to Hope for doing that. Now, please welcome Lieutenant Mark Skews, who served at the Royal Canadian Navy and at HMCS Toronto.
Remember them. This Remembrance Day, Canadians will honor those who have defended our country over the past 150 years. Whether in combat or in support of peace operations in faraway places, or in disasters in Canada or abroad, through the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, the Balkans, and Afghanistan, to the fights against extremism today, leaving their families, some never to return. We thank them for their service. We recognize their courage, and we honor their sacrifice. We will remember them.
Good morning. Thank you very much for that introduction. It was wonderful. I am Lieutenant Navy Mark Skews, and I am an intelligence officer with the Royal Canadian Navy stationed at HMCS York, Her Majesty's Canadian Ship York in Toronto, Ontario. I'd like to start off by thanking all the teachers, staff, parents, especially students. I gotta tell you, the poems and songs that you were singing, Big Tough Soldier, bringing a tear to my eye. You've done a great job today. Thank you very much. I'd also like to extend my appreciation to any veterans we may have and to our cadets. You look great. Slide. I joined the Canadian Forces 8 years ago, and in that time, I've had the opportunity to travel all across Canada, while also getting the chance to meet many wonderful Canadians just like yourselves. My time with the Navy has been both rewarding and challenging. Our mission is to keep Canadians safe at home and help countries around the world be peaceful and free. I am proud to follow in the footsteps of many people in past times who made the same decision that I did, to serve in our country's military. Maybe one of those people was your father or mother, aunt or uncle. We're going back even further, a grandparent, a great-grandparent, or even a great-great-grandparent. But no matter how long ago they served, they all kept the same promise that we made today, to make sure that you, your friends, family, neighbors are able to live in peace and freedom. Slide. That promise isn't easy to keep. Serving in the Canadian Armed Forces requires hard work. Often it means leaving your family, sometimes knowing that you will face great danger. But our members have been doing this for a long, long time. More than 100 years ago, during the First World War, Canadians bravely sailed across the ocean to fight in Europe against those who wanted to deny others freedom and peace. Their courage, hard work, and sacrifice won the respect of nations around the world. Sadly, there are no more soldiers alive who fought in that war, but remembering them means that they will live on in our hearts forever. Our military also fought in the Second World War. Maybe you had a great-grandfather who served, or maybe you had a great-grandmother who performed a very important job as a nurse, tending to those who were wounded. Since that war, the Canadian Armed Forces have served in many places around the world. The Korean War in the 50s, recently in Afghanistan, where Canadian men and women worked very hard to bring peace to that country. So you can see that for a very, very long time, Canadian Armed Forces members have been guarding your freedoms. Think for a minute about the freedoms we Canadians have. Across this country, children like you get to play, go to school, live with their families in peace and safety. Slide. Do you think those freedoms matter a great deal? I know that I do. And Canadian Armed Forces members have protected those freedoms. All of us who have served in the military, both in the past and the present, ask just one small thing from you: that you remember our service. That is really what Remembrance Day is all about. Together, we take a few moments to remember the hard work and sacrifices that all of our veterans have made. And then silently, or even better, just like you are doing today, out loud we say a simple thank you. Slide. You may have heard the phrase, lest we forget. It really means we must never forget those who protected our freedoms or ever take for granted what they did for you and me. One way to do that is by being here today and remembering together. So I thank you so much for being here. The history that I've shared with you today is now a part of your history. And you can be very proud of that. Lest we forget, thank you very much. And jump. Turn to the right. Yes, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, we will be watching a slideshow for our Highbush family members that served in war. This is our honor to remember them. Thank you, Ayan and Reason, for putting that together. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world shall know peace.
We are approaching the 11th hour on the 11th day on the 11th month. It is time for us to show respect for our soldiers out at war and our veterans.
Now please welcome Miss George, who will be playing a beautiful post. And stand.
We're going to ask everyone to stand. It is 11 o'clock on the dot, and we would like to show a moment to remember the soldiers at war.
You may now be seated.
Thank you, Miss George.
Now, please welcome the piper to play a heart-touching song, Flower of the Forest. Thank you. Now we will be watching a short slideshow dedicated to the ones at or have been at war.
With my eyes
thank you for the heartfelt slideshow. This brings us to the end of our assembly.